Hey, what's up guys and welcome back to Anime King. And yeah guys, today I'm going to be giving you a brand new series. What if Naruto found the weapons of the Shinigami? Remember to get this one to 100 likes as usual. Share this to all of your friends in your social media platform. And also guys, stay tuned for those what ifs coming your way over Making 3 and over and Making 2. If you're new, yes, I did have 3 channels, and Making 2 and Making 3, which I post what if on every single day for you guys to enjoy. So go ahead and click that red subscribe button and become part of the Making family. And thank you for all of your helping support. Remember to comment down below and tell me if you're new. I'll be replying talking back to all of you. And also guys, click that bell notification, stay posted, and see exactly when I post. So without further ado, what is we begin this new episode, series to be exact. Start the intro. You know nothing about pain. Iniri cried out, as if they could understand his pain. Iniri! Tsunami yelled at her son. She knew that he was hurting since Kaizan's death, but she wouldn't stand here and watch him insult the ninjas that had sworn their life to protect them. We don't know about pain, huh? Naruto said rather quietly, but there was a way that he spoke that Sakura, Kakashi, or Sasuke never heard from him before. All of them looked at him for different reasons. Kakashi was worried, as he wondered if it concerned the fox. The growl in his tone, its sound, almost demonic. The anger, not to mention the room. It became incredibly cold, as Naruto was unconsciously spreading a killer intent. As the room was becoming chilly, his voice was devoid of all emotion as he spoke. As Iniri was trembling already, just by those simple words, and not to mention the room temperature dropped so much. Let me tell you something. Somewhere in this world, people will always have it worse than you. Yeah, you lost someone to that tyrant Gato, but you still have your loving family. You have your mother and your grandfather who loves and protect you, who would do everything in their way possible to make your life better. As Naruto held up 3 fingers. 3. That's a number of people in this room who have it worse than you. As the place was getting colder, it was confusing Kakashi. This was not the feeling of the Kyuubi. After all, he felt that malicious intent before. It was hot, but this feeling was cold. It felt like death. First is my teacher, Cyclops over there. Judging from the way he acts, and from all the rumors I've heard, he's lost family and a lot of friends in his career. Sasuke and Sakura eyes widened at that as he glanced towards their sensei, as they saw the faraway look in his eyes. They wonder, was it true? Well, he was a ninja for a long time now, and know that he was their sensei. From the rumors, he lost his father at an early age, then his teammate, who was most likely a Uchiha, given that eye of his. Not to mention he lost his sensei, which was the 4th Hokage. Kakashi was surprised by that, as he didn't know that Naruto knew that. But it seems he did. He perhaps did his homework. Sasuke glanced towards Kakashi, so that explained the Sharingan. Next, as Naruto started to apply pressure to the table, it started to creak. We have Sasuke. He's the last of his clan. You wanna know why? He lost his entire clan in one night, as the table started to creak even more. As Iniri was trembling in fear. Sakura was getting scared. This side of Naruto was terrifying her. And then we have me, said Naruto. As Sakura was also trembling like Iniri. Naruto was always so happy, but he just seemed to snap from the boy's words. I was an orphan since birth. And you wanna know what? Everyone in my village hate me since then. I was just 4 years old when I was kicked from the orphanage. and told that I couldn't live there anymore. I was on my own for a very long while, trying to survive, but it was hard. Sometimes I thought I would die. But the Hokage found me, the very first person to accept me, and showed me kindness by taking me in. As Kakashi looked down, a look of guilt and regret in his eyes. As Sakura wondered, why did everyone hate him at birth? She thought everyone was annoyed at him because of his stupid pranks, so she didn't really understand what he was talking about. But look in his eyes, the pain, just from a single glance. She saw it. She's never seen so much pain in someone's eyes before, yet his voice sounds so emotionless. First, I thought it was because I was born on a night when the Kyuubi attacked and the people needed something to release their anger on, but I found out much later that it was much worse. As Naruto could not stop it, all of those repressed emotion, the anger, they just came spilling out. It was just sad that it was coming out on Iniere, his family, and his team right here. I am one of 9 people with the same problem. I am not seen as human. I am seen as something less than human. Something that people see as trash, in fear of our power. Even worse than trash, probably. And it's not like we asked for it in the first place. It was forced on us, so we can be a weapon for our villages. Kakashi gulped as he realized that Naruto was telling everything, but he knew that Hiruzen did not see Naruto that way. That is why he tried to give him a normal life, something that the villagers messed up. As he lowered his head, already feeling guilty and shame. "I'm so sorry, Sensei," he said. Hearing these things from Naruto just made him feel more guilt, pile onto the one that was already on his shoulders. Sasuke didn't really understand. All these things that Dope was saying doesn't really make sense. Now that he thought about it, the academy teachers always had it out for him. He had passed by many times and heard them talking badly about Naruto. He thought that it was because of the pranks that Naruto always pulled. But it seems he was wrong. But why? The only teacher that seemed to actually care for him was Haruka. But Sasuke didn't know why. As Sakura lowered her head, now she understood her mother's words. She had told her to stay away from him, that he was a monster, but she never told her why. "I'm a Jinchuriki, a power of human sacrifice, nothing but trash to normal humans, just like what that one-eyed man told me when I was little, but I was too young to understand." One-eyed man? Could he be talking about Danzo? Thought Kakashi. But after Mizuki's stunt, I get what I am now. I am the Jinchuriki of the Kyuubi. The fourth Hokage could not kill it, so he sealed it inside me. I'm just a freak that no one wants around. So the next time you want to go running your mouth about no one understand pain, think. And understand the people in the room before you go. And run your mouth, said Naruto as he turned his back. "Where are you going?" said Kakashi. "Training," said Naruto as he walked off. Now that his teammates knew what he was, he doubted they want to be in the same team as him anymore. So it's better if he gave them time to think. So when they head back to the village, he can be removed from said team, or if they want to leave. "Poor kid," said Tazuna. "No one should treat a child like that," said Tasumi. As Kakashi, no one noticed, but a single tear fell, as he felt like a disappointment. He owed his father after all. He promised that if anything were to happen, he'd watch over his son, but he neglected his duty, leaving that child to suffer by the hands of the villagers. It scarred him so much. Sasuke, on the other hand, was thinking a mile a minute. The Kyuubi, that massive, giant beast that was said to have rampaged to the village, was sealed inside of Naruto. But he did not understand. Naruto was keeping them safe by holding the beast back from destroying the village, so why? Why would they turn their wrath upon him? Perhaps he's been a bad teammate to the blonde. Perhaps he can be a bit better. "Hey, Kakashi, who's his father?" asked Sasuke. As Kakashi glanced towards the boy. "Huh. The Hokage might kill me if I tell you, since Naruto is not supposed to know, given the man's enemies." But Kakashi could see that their mind was conflicted on the thought. He had been a terrible person so far, going as far as to betray Minato and everything that he stood for, by leaving Naruto to the dust. Maybe a small part of him wanted Sasuke to actually tell Naruto about this, to at least let him regain hope. Because look in Naruto's eyes, the way he spoke, It sounds like a dead man. Kakashi had seen that before several times, and it was not far from people committing suicide, and he was afraid. He was afraid, maybe. This would help Naruto. He knew that he is breaking a SS secret right now, and the penalty could be his death. But after what he done, perhaps he does deserve death. His father is my old sensei. As Tezuna narrowed his eyes, he remembered what the kid said. Wait, didn't he say that your old sensei was the fourth Hokage? Sasuke's eyes widened, as he was shocked. Naruto was the son of a Hokage and a Jinchuriki? Yes, Tezuna was right. That is exactly what he said. As Kakashi slightly leaned back. Yeah, he was in deep shit now, but perhaps he just didn't care anymore. As crying could be heard, they glanced over towards Sakura. She was hugging her knees, and she was tearing up. Mom, you're such an idiot, she said. The fourth Hokage made his son into the hero of Konoha to protect us, she said, looking up towards Kakashi, tears flowing down her eyes. As Kakashi narrowed his gaze towards Sakura. And how do you two feel about Naruto, he asks. When I was younger, my father talked about the fourth Hokage, and he said that the man was a seal master, him, and he is sensei, but I'm not sure who that was. And even if he does have the Kyuubi seal inside of him, it's not like they're the same person. Naruto is Naruto, said Sasuke. Jerry of the Sani, said Sakura. I read about him, he was a seal master. And he was the one that trained the fourth Hokage. So I doubt anything will be wrong with the seal. As she lowered her head, she needed to apologize to him later, as she felt horrible now. As Kakashi breathed out a sigh, he knew that he messed up by telling them who Naruto's father was, but, well, as he said before, he didn't care. Seeing that the both of them accept Naruto, it made him happy. Meanwhile, dozens of trees were broken down, as right in the center of all this chaos was none other than Naruto himself. But he was asleep. He found himself in a sewer, as he was confused. The last thing he remembered was training, but he then quickly realized where he was. There could only be one conclusion to this. Ever since hearing about the truth from Mizuki, he wondered when it was going to happen, as he started calmly make his way. So, this must be the Kyuubi seal, huh, he said, as he saw the massive bars with the kanji for a seal on it. And you would be correct, brat. Two glowing red eyes snapped open, as Naruto heard a growl. You don't seem that threatening to me, said Naruto. After all, he was behind a giant cage. Well then, why don't you come a bit closer? Nah, I think I'll stay here, said Naruto. Well, let's get to the reason why I called you here. It took you long enough to break through your mental barrier. Huh? What's going on? Since you told those other humans about me, life is gonna be harder for you in Konoha. I will give you a reason not to go back there. What? Said Naruto. I know who your parents were. As Naruto froze. Really? How? He said. How could I not? I know your mother personally more than anyone else. Her name was Kushina Uzumaki. How do you know my mother personally? She was also a Jinchuriki. Wait, my mother was also a Jinchuriki? As Naruto looked down. So, I'm the second? Try third, brat. The first Hokage's wife, Mito, was also a Jinchuriki as well. As for your father, you already know who he is. He was the one that sealed me inside of you. You're smart enough to figure out who I'm talking about. As Naruto collapsed to his knees, before he dropped on his back, just looking up at the empty ceiling. It was just pure darkness. Somehow, on a subconscious level, I believe I already know, said Naruto. As a fox raised eyebrow at that, I mean, it's weird, isn't it? The man looked exactly like me. Blonde hair and blue eyes. And not to mention he was there. I always thought about the possibility of he being my father, but I brushed it off because the fourth Hokage was a genius, a prodigy, and I am nothing, said Naruto. So I always brushed that thought off. Huh. I guess this makes things worse. Not only do I look like the fourth Hokage, I have you as well. So I'll forever be a constant reminder to the people in Konoha. I guess the hate will never stop. Yes. Now do you see why you need to leave that place and never go back? Even if I do leave, I mean, where would I go, said Naruto. The fox went quiet for a while. He then spoke. Since you know nothing of your heritage as a Uzumaki, I think it could be safe to recreate a powerful Uzumaki. I used to run with him before. He was killed by Mother Uchiha. The Grim Reaper, he was called. The Grim Reaper? Yes, you can become like him. As the fox told Naruto several things about this so-called Grim Reaper, as Naruto got enticed even more. I hope this is not a trick, said Naruto. As the fox smiled, the smile looked rather off-putting, and it scared Naruto a bit, even though he would not admit it. Now why would I trick you? I mean, we're stuck together after all. As Naruto sighed, where do I find these weapons of a Grim Reaper, said Naruto. Lucky for you, this is one of the islands that are nearby to Uza, and there is a small, nearby cave in the western seaboard. It is hidden by a powerful genjutsu that is probably about to run out of that chakra soon. There was a lot placed in the seal though. I don't know how long it will take, but I'm sure it won't last for long. I hope you're not messing with me, said Naruto. Now why would I do that? I told you. I'm giving you a reason not to go back to the leaf. I'm helping you. You should really appreciate my help. Fine, I will, said Naruto, as he could feel himself waking up. Well, I guess it's time to go, said the fox as Naruto dematerialized out of the mindscape. The Kyuubi smirked as he laid his head back down. Well, at least things will get interesting from now on. Naruto snapped open his eyes as he stopped the girl from shaking him. Beautiful black hair, as she was wearing a raven kimono. You shouldn't sleep out here. You would catch a cold, she said. Don't worry about that, I'm a ninja. I can handle a little cold, said Naruto. Oh, so I was right to assume that, given that you have a headband. I am Haku, by the way. Oh hey, I'm Naruto Uzumaki. Nice to meet you, Naruto. Tell me, do you have something to fight for? As Naruto sighed. I'm not sure anymore, he said. I thought I did, but no, I'm not sure. I see, Haku said. From what he saw, their team didn't really act like one. Well, let me tell you something. When you're fighting for something important to you, that is when you become truly strong. Well, I guess that is something to think about, said Naruto. Well, I'll be off now. As Haku was leaving, before he paused. Oh, and just to let you know, I'm a boy. As Naruto froze, he actually heard the Kyuubi laughing in his head. The hell? He's prettier than Sakura. As Naruto got to his feet, oh that's fine, he said. Bit surprising, but fine. And don't you worry, I'll find a way to get both sides out of this unscathed. And you'll get your money, said Naruto. Haku was shocked by that. What did he just? Haku turned, but Naruto was already gone. Meanwhile, as Naruto quickly made his move, it seems that the genjutsu did not hold up for too long. Well, it has been a long time judging from what the Kyuubi said, but lucky enough Naruto was making his way. Haku and the masked hunter are the same chakra signature, so it had to be him. Naruto stopped at the entrance of the cave, as he was afraid. The darkness inside seemed to be alive. It felt like it wanted to swallow him up, as he was afraid to approach. The feeling was unnerving, perhaps a bit of the chakra remained to scare off anyone, as the genjutsu was still a bit active. The scary part, he slapped himself rather hard across the face before marching in. He was Naruto Uzumaki. He doesn't get scared so easily. But he was surprised the cave was so small, and the moment he entered, that feeling completely vanished. As Naruto saw a massive sight, it was on a podium. It had a beautiful black handle, and the metal seemed to be polished. The darkness around seemed to be pulled in by this strange weapon. Naruto was surprised it was in such good condition after all. Hasn't it been here for years now? The other weapon was just as strange. It was a chain weapon with hook-like claws on the end. The Kyuubi spoke to him in that moment. That sight is called the Death Sight, the main weapon of the Shinigami. That strange cane is called the Claws of Hades. Take them both, now. As Naruto reached out to the weapons, he grabbed them. The moment he took them, Something spasmed through his body. As images, memories assaulted his mind, he saw a man with red hair, with these said weapons, with a massive fox by his side as he fought. He was a part of the clan as Naruto saw more of the man memories. He even had a wife, a beautiful blonde-haired woman. As Naruto dropped to his knees, he screamed as information seemed to flood into his mind. But not just that. Once it was done, smoke seemed to be weeping off his body as it whipped around him. Naruto slowly, cautiously got up to his feet. The weapons had shortened enough so it can fit on his waist rather easily. As he shook his head trying to get those images out of his mind, but they seemed to be stuck in there, he hooked the both weapons to his side. As Naruto walked out before he summoned a horde of clones, he then sent them all over the area. One of them dispelled as it found where Gato was. Well, it found the mansion. After all, why would a mansion like that be out here? That was the only place that Naruto believed that Gato was. Massive mansion, it had to be it. The man had a lot of money to spare after all. As Naruto walked, he did not notice a strange flicker in his hand. Time skip. Boom! The massive explosion sounded. Almost everyone in the land of Wave. Everyone is alerted by the explosion. Team 7 made their way. As Kakashi realized it was the mansion that Gato was in, it had to be. As he wondered, the thought came to his mind, no, Naruto wouldn't. He quickly rushed over when he saw something blowing on a long rod. To his shock, it was Naruto's orange jacket. Sakura gasped as Sasuke snapped his head towards her, as Naruto's headband was pinned to a tree. Time skip. You fool. I should just kill you now, said Zabuza, as he shouted at the blonde known as Naruto Uzumaki. They had just escaped the outskirts of Land of Wave. After Naruto had raided Gato Mansion and took all his valuables, as he had left a lot of the money in Land of Wave, but there was a lot, like an extreme lot of it, not to mention all the valuables. It cannot be reversed. Besides, he was gonna have you and Haku killed after the battle. As Naruto tossed him a scroll, Zabuza opened it before he growled, "That piece of shit! He was gonna sell my body to Kyuubi?" He roared as he tore a tree in half with his blade in anger. As Zabuza turned back towards Naruto, as he remembered this brat coming up with a plan to get his teacher out of the water prison. He might put on a goofy attitude, as Zabuza saw that when he first arrived, but perhaps he was hiding a bit of knowledge in there, in that skull of his. After all, if they had went through his mission and he had gotten injured by Kakashi, he would be dead right now and his body would be sold to Kyuubi because of that short midget. Fine, I see your point, brat, but what now? What about the Konoha ninjas, said Zabuza. As Haku remained quiet, Zabuza looked towards Haku. He didn't like that. While in battle, yes, it was good to be an emotionless drone, but while in these normal situations, it was good to talk sometimes. But Haku said nothing. As a part of Zabuza hoped Naruto did not go back, Haku needed a friend. "No, I bring nothing but pain to them," said Naruto. "I am Naruto Uzumaki, son of the 4th Hokage, and 3rd holder of the Kyuubi." Haku looked shocked at that. Someone had been through pain like him. The life of a Jinchuriki was not easy by any means. Zabuza looked shocked and skeptical as he looked at the brat in front of him. Blue eyes, blonde hair, but the whiskers. Was that a sign of the Kyuubi? Also, since when did Konoha have a Jinchuriki? Konoha for the most part never seemed like they had a Jinchuriki to start with. Not to mention too, he's never seen a Jinchuriki from Konoha fight before. I never heard of any Jinchuriki in Konoha. Many people does not know, said Naruto, because the first one was the first Hokage's wife, and the second one was my mother, Kushina Uzumaki. Zabuza almost had a mini heart attack. Wait. This brat is a son of Yellow Flash and the Red Hot Habanero. Holy shit. That woman was a legend with a blade. Not to mention she saved his ass in the past. Despite the both of them not being from the same village, he got himself into some really bad shit. And to see her son right here. This kid was from those two bloodlines. "I see," he said. "So what do you plan to do now?" I haven't thought that far yet, said Naruto. As Zabuza actually chuckled at that. Well, Konoha screwed up, but Zabuza just hit a gold mine. It seems like the legend was right. It was said that the red hot Habanero could change the hearts of her enemies. She surely did it for Zabuza when she saved him. Now this brat seemed to have gotten that instinct as well, because he was considering training him and taking him on as an apprentice, just like what he did for Haku. Alright then kid, how about this? While I fully recover, I will teach you alongside Haku. I will make you into a competent shinobi, not an idiot that relies on luck alone. What do you say about that? I'll do it, said Naruto. As he knew that he had to get stronger even if he had to take the Demon of the Mist as a master. As Haku actually smiled at that. Glad to see I'm not alone in the train anymore. As Naruto turned towards him. Do I call you senpai now, he said. I would not mind that. I'm older than you after all. Zabuza actually smiled under his mask. Well, this was good. Time skip. A week later, Zabuza had Naruto fight off some bandits. And yeah, he was a bit skilled, but he still needed a lot of work. But he didn't use those weapons. Hey kid, gotta ask, what's with those weapons? Oh, I got this before I leave the wave. Apparently, they belong to a ninja that the Kyuubi used to run with, before he was sealing Mito Uzumaki. He was called the Grim Reaper. Zabuza stepped back. Are you kidding me? You're a main Uzumaki line? What do you mean, said Naruto. Naruto-kun, Haku said. He means only. The main founder of the Uzumaki can use those weapons. For the Grim Reaper was married into the main line. I think Mito was a daughter of his or granddaughter. I'm not sure. Oh yeah, I forgot to mention that the Kyuubi said. You had to be a descendant of that guy before you were even allowed in the cave. That feeling that you felt before you stepped in. It would have completely ripped you to shreds if you weren't a descendant, and I wouldn't be able to save you. Now you tell me that. I could have died, said Naruto in a shout in his head. Yeah, said the Kyuubi. Asshole, said Naruto. It turns out I am his descendant, said Naruto. Hey, did you just talk to the Kyuubi? As Naruto nodded. Well then, what's going on with the weapons, he asked. He'd heard about them, but he's never actually seen them. He didn't really know much details either. Well, the Kyuubi call this one the Claws of Hades. They look like they have a strange yet dark power. The other is a sight called the Dead Sight. So the legend's were true, said Zabuza. Anyone, even him, would have wanted weapons for himself, but he was not an idiot. Only a Uzumaki could use those. And he wasn't planning on experimenting, trying to use them. He wasn't ready to die yet. He then fished into his clothing. Here. As Naruto caught the paper. What's this? It's a chakra paper. I want you to channel your chakra into it. What for? It will tell you your nature, Haku said. For example, I can use ice release. It's my bloodline, so I have a high affinity for wind and water. Alright then, said Naruto. As he did as he was told, the paper split off in multiple sections. As strange reactions happened, the first two was normal, so was the third, but the first one was the strongest wind. It sliced into multiple pieces. The second got soggy, the third burned, but the last two got wispy and dark, and just broke away. Well, no, that's interesting, said Zabuza. It seemed to have a high affinity for wind, while a smaller affinity for water and fire. And if I'm correct, those two were darkness. Darkness, said Naruto. It's probably because of those weapons, said Zabuza. This is gonna take a lot of training. Hey, wait a second. How many clones can you make? I don't really know, said Naruto. The most I ever made was 500 when I turned them against Mizuki, but I didn't feel tired afterwards. Zabuza looked at Naruto. As Naruto saw the man staring at him. What's wrong, said Naruto. As Zabuza wondered if Konoha was evil or something. Yeah, they must be. They had this kid with so much potential and yet he wasn't trained properly. They were some wicked, heartless bastards. The kid could make 500 clones. You know what? Screw them. They messed up. Konoha messed up badly. As Naruto was gonna go far now. Maybe. In time he could help him join the Mist Rebels, so they could finally kill that bastard Yagura. He hoped Mei was okay though. Hell, she could melt him, so she was probably fine. Hey, let me tell you a secret that no one seemed to told you so far. Anything your clone learned except for the physical aspect, you also learn. Wait, what? Said Naruto. Oh, no, that explained the memory. Because when they burst, I get their memories back. But I never thought about it that way. Yeah, you know now. Well then, let's get to training. For next month, we'll be on road a lot. So we'll be training a lot as well. As Zabuza chuckled darkly. Why is he laughing like that? Said Naruto as he looked towards Haku. He will tell you very soon. Well, it's quite simple, said Zabuza. Get ready for hell. As Naruto gulped a bit. Time skip. As the trio was currently in a land that bordered rice, fire, and water. Careful. I heard some rumors that Orochimaru is in the land, said Zabuza. What the hell is he doing here? Said Naruto with annoyance. It has been a month since his training began, and Naruto had changed his attire mostly. Zabuza swore that he would never train an orange wearing fool. That was not the fate of a ninja. Good enough Naruto had left behind his shirt to fake his death. At the moment though, he was wearing black boots that comfortably fit his feet. Black pants that had multiple pockets. He was wearing no headband. His hair came down his face, slightly covering his eyes. He was wearing a sleeveless black shirt that stuck to his frame. He didn't feel like he needed any jacket. Not to mention his hair was a bit longer than before, as it came down in spikes in the back of his head, reaching past his shoulder blade. If you listen in on the conversation that people had in towns when we passed by, you will know why Naruto-kun, Haku said. As Naruto glanced towards Haku, as he knew that Haku was insulting him. Haku seemed like a kind person even when he was talking badly about someone. He kept that kind persona up. Word is, he's recruiting people for the Sound Village, a village that he's leading himself. Great, said Naruto, as he eyed his best friend. As Haku still wore the same battle kimono, he kept the hunter in mask as Naruto wished that he would dress normally when they were in town. After all, he had to pretend like the boy was his older sister sometime. Correct, Haku, said Zabuza. Just be careful just in case. I'd rather not fight the man if I can help it. Not to mention, if he found out about you too, he would definitely want you two on his side. As they were moving towards a near country, they were near the water, and not to mention since the civil war was going on, people were skittish of bloodline users. As Naruto nodded at what Zabuza said earlier, he didn't think that he was ready for someone that was Sony level yet. Sure, he would fight, but he'd probably die. As for his training for the past month, Zabuza was a slave driver, while the man had his clones working on various jutsus, chakra control, elemental manipulation. He had Naruto working on taijutsu, as he taught Naruto a bit of everything since he was a kinjutsu expert. As Zabuza even knew how to use a chain weapon that surprised Naruto a lot. When asked how he did, he said some guy in the Iron Country helped him a long time ago. It was then that they saw a commotion. Seems the rumors are right, said Zabuza, as he was that girl on the ground, with a rather nasty bump on her head. Someone must have hit her. You two go and handle that. I'm gonna go and get a drink. Yeah, whatever, Sensei. We should call you the lazy demon instead, said Naruto. Haku was amused by their banter. He was used to it by now. Zabuza, while a hard-ass ninja, he'd care for them. He just didn't like to show it. The man seemed to get attached rather quickly. Besides, he wasn't that bad of a guy. He was just doing his job. Just go and help the girl, brat, he said, waving him off, as Naruto and Haku disappeared in a body flicker. As he appeared in front of the girl. I won't like it, but we will kill you if you continue this foolishness, Haku said. Why are you defending this little witch? A female said with venom in her tone. I see no witch, Haku said. The girl looked at him in shock. Yeah, all we see is a group of dumbass picking on a poor girl. She has a bloodline. She needs to be erased. Fools, said Naruto, as his hair covered his eyes. As Naruto extended his sight, as Haku started to drop the air temperature, making ice form around them, molds and Naruto. The girl behind them was not affected by what they were doing, but she was surprised that random strangers were helping her. Her of all people, seeing that she had a bloodline, and the place was not fond of people with bloodline lately. As Naruto's sight started to fuse on him, releasing black smoke that seemed to turn his body into nothing but skeleton. Leave, or you all will die. As everyone saw what he resembled, it's a Shinigami! Run! As the people started to run for their life. As it was a scare tactic that Naruto and Haku had created, it worked well with Haku ice, lowering the temperature, and not to mention with Naruto's sight. The darkness returned back to the staff. As he returned back to normal, the boys turned to look towards the girl. She had fair-skinned dark eyes, and blue hair that she kept in a spiky ponytail, with long strands of hair framing her face. She was wearing a kimono with an obi wrapped around her waist, red shorts with sandals. Hello, I am Haku Yuki, and this is Naruto Uzumaki. Are you okay? The girl stared at Haku for a moment. It was a guy. She could tell up close, but he looked so much like a girl. Well, his face did anyway. She then glanced towards a blonde. He seemed to be the stronger of the two. As she glanced towards the weapon that had shrunk back down. Yes, I am, thank you. My name is Guren. Why are you both here anyway? This village is pretty out of the way. Simple, our sensei heard about your unique bloodline and your situation. Hell, it's similar to ours. Your bloodline users as well? Said Guren. Of course, I have ice manipulation, which is a bloodline from Kiri, Haku said. Oh, I'm not a bloodline user, said Naruto as she looked towards him. I'm just a Jinchuriki. Guren understood that Jinchurikis never lived good life, and Haku. If Haku was born in Kiri, that meant he must have suffered through the bloodline purge as well. Perhaps they could understand her pain. So, your sensei must be pretty strong and level-headed to deal with you both, huh? And make you strong. Well, if he's looking for another, I'm your gal, she said. She didn't really have anyone to help her. Finding someone that can help her get stronger, well, she would not decline that offer. But despite everything, she was pretty full of herself. You hit the nail on the head, kid. As she glanced behind her, she saw Zabuza standing there. I have made them strong in my own way. However, they were already strong in their own right. I see that same strength inside of you, Guren. Haku, my first apprentice, was an orphan boy who had killed his father when the bloodline purge began. But he still remained with his kind and gentle nature. Naruto, my second apprentice, he was treated as the thing that he holds inside of him, and yet he's still a goofy idiot who seemed to be able to change people's heart. Guren was surprised. She knew who this man was from his appearance, but he was not what she expected. Well, his personality to be exact. Well then, I accept, she said, a bit smug in her tone. Now there is you, Guren, my third apprentice. Despite your hardship, you have maintained a smugness about you, and a bit of vanity as well. Guren created a crystal in her hand. It was pink, as she looked at her own reflection. But you do have to admit, I'm pretty hot for a 15-year-old, she said. Zabuza said nothing as he was already getting annoyed. Well, now that you're a part of our group, maybe you can teach Haku how to be a real girl, said Naruto. As Haku glanced towards him. What was that, Naruto-kun? Well, you dress like a girl. You look like a girl. I'm pretty sure that she can help you become a girl, said Naruto, with a smile on his face. As Guren saw that Naruto was trying to get one over on Haku. Are you sure about that, Blondie, she said. Huh? Said Naruto. Do you really want him as a girl? I mean, you could have me. As Naruto froze, his cheeks becoming red. As Zabuza barked out a laugh. Finally, someone got one over the blonde. As Haku was also smiling as well, seeing Naruto all flustered. As Naruto looked away, as he was the one always getting one over on people. Don't worry, Blondie. I'm not that into you. I think I like the girly one. What? Haku said. As Guren chuckled. This is gonna be fun, she said. Well then, let us go, as she started to walk. As Zabuza was walking as well, until he looked back. Aren't you two coming, he said. Yeah, we're coming, said Naruto. Yes, said Haku as they made their way. Time skip. Well, Guren was rather lucky that they came along. It seems like Orochimaru was here and he was after her. It turns out just because he did not get what he wanted, he destroyed the village. Well, they could not go back. They could not allow to be caught. While Zabuza was strong, he was not. At the level of someone like Orochimaru, Zabuza's gonna have to up their training to make sure they are ready just in case. Meanwhile, at Konoha, Kakashi looked towards the monument and sighed. Naruto was missing in action for so long now. Hiruzen was enraged when he heard about that. But he told Hiruzen that Naruto had spilled the truth about the Kyuubi, and actually his teammates wanted to find him. They accepted him, as Hiruzen was happy for that. But Naruto was gone. When the news got out that he was missing in action, people actually celebrated. happy that the demon brat was gone. Kakashi couldn't believe it. After everything his sensei gave for this village, he just couldn't. Know that he was gone, and presumed dead. There was no longer a secret to be upheld. So, the rumor about him being a Kyuubi had spread through his generation. But the younger generation respected Naruto more than ever now, as Sakura and Sasuke had spoken to each of them. As they couldn't believe that there was people that hated Naruto for protecting them. To them, these people were monsters. And know that they were celebrating it pissed Sasuke and Sakura off, so... well, they disobeyed Kakashi's words. They told the people who Naruto's father was. Yes, shocking, but the people start to realize their mistake, a lot of them. As they couldn't believe it, he was the son of Minato Namikaze. The son of the man that gave his life. The son of their greatest hero. The village was in a state of panic, chaos, misery. It was just problematic. But the younger generation still stick with Naruto, and there was a few others who couldn't believe their arrogance, their foolishness. Well, things were not good, just to say the least. One boy could change the village this much. Well, he was certainly something. And now, he was presumed dead in action after all. He was gone for so long, and even though there was no body found, Inuzukas had made their way there. But the fire must have burned his body quite well because there was no scent. Absolutely none. But unknown to them, it was the weapons that seemed to just erase Naruto's scent completely. So to everyone, he was dead. Time skip. Some time had passed since Zabuza took them on as apprentice. It was like they were a little small family. As there was a lot of problem though, that almost drove him up the wall several times. Gorin being more mature than Naruto and knowing a lot of things, she was able to caught him off guard several times. But Zabuza was still planning to go to Kiera to kill the Mizukage. He had failed to kill the man all the way back then, and he had just run away. But he knew that these kids were nowhere ready to go to take on Anbu Shinobis and the Loyalists, and face off against a fully trained Jinchuriki who was ruthless. If the man had the power to kill his own people and say that it was for the greater good, what would he do to these kids with bloodline? And a part of him was afraid. He was afraid to face Mei. He and her had been friends since the Genin exams. They were on the same team before he joined the swordsmen, and he liked her a lot. But the Mizukage was getting hard on everyone, most of the bloodline users. All of a sudden, things then went to hell afterwards. Many people might not know this, but Zabuza wanted a family of his own, some brats that he could grow and train. But here he now had the brats, but he didn't have a loving wife. And there was actually someone that he did love. But no one knew of this, and that was me. He shook his head. At the moment they were in a Koweït hot spring. Gorin was quite impressive in regard her crystal release. She could use it in many shape or form, not to mention her versatility in battle. Well, she was a dangerous person. Soon enough she would be ready to take on more dangerous opponents. As for Haku, he had gotten faster. Haku was always natural when it comes to speed. It made Zabuza wonder if he had a second bloodline. He had gained a few more ice jutsu. As he thought about that second bloodline, it would probably be swift release. Something that has not long seen, but still, it would explain sometime why he just received these bursts of speeds. Finally was Naruto. Konoha was full of a bunch of idiots if they let this kid get away. His Shadow Clone Jutsu really sped up his training a lot. He has gotten a full master over wind and fire. All he needed to do now was make some jutsu for those. Now came the fun part, water. He was gonna take them to the desert for a reason. If Haku and Naruto could pull water out of that ear, then they could pull water out of anywhere. That would be a great, no, incredible master over water if they could pull water from the ear, from the desert. And also his darkness powers regarding those weapons. They helped him a lot. And not to mention he could bring out a fraction of the beast's power. Because of Zabuza, he was not proud of what he did to bring it out, but it helped Naruto though. The kids were already pretty strong for their age, and they didn't have a village hold them back with stupid direct missions. No, that was a thought. He should get them some missions. Oh, Haku, I didn't know that you were this forward, Gorin said to laugh. I didn't mean it, Haku said, as Naruto could be heard laughing. Come on, girly boy, don't tell me you haven't thought about it. Or perhaps are you into guys, said Naruto. Oh, come on, Naruto, don't be so hard on him. I bet you're just jealous of the position that he's in, said Gurren. Well, I think any guy would be. He's just a lucky one, Naruto mumbled. Huh, this again, said Zabuza with a groan. Time skip. Why are we here? Haku asks, as he really hated the desert. It's so hot, said Naruto. It's for the next stage of training for you too. Haku, I'm sure that you can teach Naruto the second step of water manipulation. I know that you know this, but last time it was easy, because of the environment that we were in. If you can pull water out of this environment, then your training for water manipulation will be complete. Hey, what about me, said Gurren. While they're doing this, we'll be over there in the oasis over there sparring. I really hope it's the oasis, Zabuza said as he was already sweating. Come on. Gurren nodded as she followed after her delirious sensei. Well, how do we do this, said Naruto as he looked towards Haku. As Haku showed him the steps, but each time Haku tried to perform them well, it just got hotter. As he sighed, a thought popped into his head though. Hey, Naruto, what do you think of Gurren, he asked. Odd question, but she's really cool, said Naruto. You know, you and her are close in age. And she seemed to like you. Do you like her, said Naruto. As Haku was quiet. Wait, you really? You could say that. What should I do, Haku said. You're asking me. You know how clueless I am towards girls, right? But you flirt with Gurren. Harmless, said Naruto. Even though I'm a bit clueless to myself, I can see how she looked towards you. Example, when you slipped and fell right into her chest in the hot spring. If that had been me, well, she would probably attack me, but you, she didn't seem to mind. She has a thing for you, so just ask her out. Oh, by the way, I was the one that pushed you, said Naruto. I thought it would be amusing. You pushed me? As Haku threw a ball of water in Naruto's face. Hey, that's not even refreshing, said Naruto. Wait, it worked, said Naruto. As Haku looked toward his hands, he did it. Well, if you can, I can as well, said Naruto. As he started to concentrate, Haku watched as Naruto pull water out of the air and threw it back towards him. I did it, said Naruto, as the both of them continued to train. As the air started to get more and more drier as they pulled water out of it. As the both of them started to throw water balls after each other, until Naruto accidentally threw a water ball too hard, and it rushed past Haku and hit a nest of scorpions. Normally that would be fine, but this was no ordinary nest. These scorpions were large, like really large. As Naruto started to back away, what's wrong, Haku said. As Naruto gulped, I think we have a problem. What do you mean we have a... As the massive hole split open and scorpions came out. As Haku looked up. This is all your fault. Yeah, I know, said Naruto. But what can I say? Run, Haku said. Huh? Run! As they ran, as the ground erupted, perhaps hundreds of scorpions seemed to tear out of the earth, chasing after them. They surely messed up big time. But guys, be in subscribe right here. If you want to see sports and do, like, subscribe, comment down below, and turn on that bell notification as they posted. But I'm off for now, see you guys soon. Peace.